Now, typically there are a lot of methodologies, of calculating the valuation, right? So we understand, how people are looking at valuation. Now, there are four canonical lenses to understand, what is the value of the asset or the company we're talking about over here. One is the intrinsic value, right? The second is the market value. Third, we'll understand is the investment value. And the fourth, but not the least, is the liquidation value. Now, what do you understand by the intrinsic value, right? So intrinsic value is the value of, which the asset can generate on its own, right? So when your asset or your company is able to perform in the market, you're able to generate cash flows, right? Using that particular asset or using that particular business model. That's where your, intrinsic value of the asset or the company comes out. So it is fundamentally nothing but the objective worth based on the asset's ability to generate your future cash flows. Now, what is the market value? We all know that assets, exchange hands, right? Now, the price at which the asset currently trades in the market. Now, obviously, the assets are driven by the game of demand and supply in the market. So, basis that, whatever price, at which the asset is currently being traded in the market, that is called the market value of the asset. Now, what do you understand by fair market value? There are always buyers and the sellers of certain assets. When I say assets, it could be a physical asset, it could be it could be a company. Obviously, company is selling its products and services, and there are buyers of those products and services. Now, when two people who are practically aware of that particular market in which the asset is currently being traded, right, or exchanged between the two hands, and if they are fully knowledgeable and they fully understand how the asset works and what realizable value of the asset can generate going forward, that becomes and at a price when these two potential buyer and seller exchange that product between them, that particular value is called the fair market value of the asset. Right now, the investment value. Now, whenever you are generating certain asset or certain business aspect, right, you try and incorporate various synergies involved into the asset, right? These could be your operational synergies, your strategic synergies, which are involved into that. Now, whenever a strategic acquirer, someone who buys an asset, probably with the understanding that whatever they might utilize the asset for, so there could be extra set of synergies happening with the particular asset they're buying, apart from whatever they are currently doing, that becomes your investment value or the synergistic value, we call it, right? Where a lot of synergies get involved into utilizing the asset, which can multiply the revenue coming in, or which can, rather, I would say, which could, multiply the future cash flows coming in by utilizing that asset. The fourth is the liquidation value. Guys, we all know that this probably is the last value which anyone would want to look in for. Liquidation value states nothing but the value at which the assets which are sold at piecemeal value, right? The absolute floor value we are talking about for the asset, right? When is the liquidation value applied? It is primarily applied on distressed assets, or on assets which are restructured, or the companies where the companies are going bankrupt, or the value of the asset is almost bankrupt. That is where the liquidation value holds true, right? So I hope you guys were able to understand what valuation is all about, and at this instant how we are looking at different types of valuations. In my next video, I'll be talking more from the angle of understanding how, what are the various methodologies involved in calculating the valuation and how those methodologies work. Till then, see you everyone. Thank you so much.